by a local cricketer who is also a member of the West Indies team. Several of the alleged victims are claiming widespread cover-up to protect the player. Earlier today, the SportsMax Zone reached out to Cricket West Indies. We'll show you the questions that were posed to President Dr. Kishore Shallow and the response we received. Question number 1. Are you aware of any sexual assault/rape allegations against such individual? Question 2. If so, what steps have you taken to investigate and address the matter since becoming aware? Question 3. How confident are you that CWI cannot be named as part of any cover-up to unjustly protect the player? Now the response from Cricket West Indies, their president Kishore Shallow. Cricket West Indies is unaware of these circumstances and therefore is not in a position to comment at this time. Now, since then, another article has been published on the Carter website asserting that other women have come forward accusing the same player of matters of a similar nature. In the latest piece, Tony writes, I have heard accounts from no fewer than 11 women, one of them a teenager, who allege that they have been sexually assaulted, raped, or subjected to unwanted sexual advances by him. Now, this is a disturbing story and one that could have far-reaching implications for the player, Cricket West Indies Cricket, and several entities within his home country. Now, we understand that these matters are of an extremely delicate nature and therefore we take great care with the management of the information and documents we have in our possession. Now, attorney at law from the offices of Hughes, Fields and Stobie, Nigel Hughes, has been engaged by the family of one of the alleged victims. That alleged victim has been in pursuit of justice for over 2 years. Nigel, welcome to the SportsMax Zone. It is unfortunate that it is a matter of this nature that we are discussing at this time. You have been engaged by the family of one of the alleged victims. What can you tell us about this case and where we are at this stage?
First of all, good evening. Thank you so much for inviting me to join your program. I think you've highlighted that it is a matter of some significant sensitivity. The allegations that were leveled by the victim were leveled 2 years ago. An investigation was conducted, and we understand that there were recommendations from the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions to institute charges. You will recall the very famous test match, which the West Indies won in Australia, occurred at the same time, and the suspect returned to Guyana, and we've heard nothing since.
I hear you on that. How long ago have you taken this case?
My firm was initially, and not me personally, my firm was initially contacted about 2 years ago. And then, of course, with the more recent allegation, inquiries were made literally yesterday and the day before about what the status of my client's complaint was. And we have not been able to obtain any significant information.
And by not being able to obtain any significant information, are you suggesting that there is a lack of cooperation from the entities dealing with that, including the police? And have you been able to get any documents at all relating to the matter?
I prefer to start by saying the fact that 2 years ago, this matter had received the benefit of advice from the chambers of the Director of Public Prosecution, and the victim and her family have heard nothing since. And despite their persistent inquiries, they have heard nothing. Nothing has been filed. Apparently the file is difficult to locate or cannot be found. And I think the evidence is pretty strong in relation to what is happening here. This gentleman returned to Guyana to a hero's welcome hosted by the state and the president, when there clearly was advice on file in relation to these charges, and nothing has happened since.
Yeah. I just want to make it clear as well that we here at the SportsMax Zone reached out to the office of the DPP in Guyana earlier today via email, asking some questions, among them confirmation that there was a recommendation that charges be filed against the person in question here. We have not gotten a response yet, but we hope that we will indeed get a response on this matter. What, from your standpoint, are next steps in this case?
Well, we certainly, apart from the public pressure that we hope to bring to bear, we are contemplating legal proceedings against the Director of Public Prosecutions, requesting her to show cause why she has not recommended charges, and if she has, why she has not instituted them, given the nature of the allegations and the actual evidence that they are in possession of.
Let's go granular in terms of what the police have been doing since the incident was first reported in 2022, I believe that you said. What was their response initially?
Well, they conducted what appeared to be a regular investigation, as in they went through the processes, they took the statements, conducted the forensic aspect of the investigation. And then, of course, the spectacular win of the West Indies down under took place, and the recommendation was made by the Director of Public Prosecutions to file charges. He arrived in Guyana. He should have been arrested on arrival. He was not arrested. He was feted by the government, and there was a lot of public and state support and fanfare surrounding his arrival in Guyana and his trip to Berbice, where he lives. And nothing happened since. No charges were filed. Inquiries from the family, I was not retained at the time, inquiries from the family, or repeated inquiries from the family, went unanswered.
How's the family feeling at this time in regards to what has happened so far, and what's the follow-up that you have put in place since that time?
Well, naturally, they're disappointed, but I dare say they're also determined. So unlike we understand that there might have been another victim who was prepared to enter into out-of-court arrangements with the suspect, this victim wants this to go through, will be pursuing it, and we will be, we're going to be taking some action tomorrow in relation to the Commissioner of Police if we don't receive a response from him. And also, as I've indicated, we will probably during the course of next week look at engaging the legal process so that the court can exercise its coercive arm in order to bring charges against the suspect.
You hinted at it before, but I just want it to be clear that it's not a case where the victim is seeking monetary compensation.
No.
What are the actions that you're planning to pursue in regards to the Commissioner of Police?
Well, to start with, we've written to the commission. He hasn't received it yet. We will be writing to the Commissioner of Police tomorrow to find out if he has received instructions from the Director of Public Prosecutions in relation to this complaint. When he received that information from the Commissioner of Police, did that information require any further follow-up investigation? And if it didn't, why has no charge been instituted against the suspect?
Nigel, the time frame of this entire situation, we talk about 2 years, and now you're going to reach out to the Commissioner of Police and of course try again. How long are we looking at with regards to this matter to get in some sort of, let's just say, clarity, if I'm to say so?
Okay, I'm assuming by clarity you mean some sort of legal action or
yes.
A result of a legal proceeding?
Yeah, because it's been 2 years and I'm thinking, well, nothing has been done. So how much more years are we looking at?
Okay, so I have to confess I was not involved in this 2 years ago. I've been very recently retained. I suspect, given the political climate at the moment, which is we're coming up to an election in September, that we might get some action from the Guyana Police Force. But I do have to caution your listeners in Jamaica that the Guyana Police Force does not enjoy the confidence of the public, and they have failed to act in cases that are equally glaring, where the evidence has been equally compelling. So we will see, this is going to be a test for the court to act not only with alacrity, but with some degree of certainty and assertiveness.
You were not involved in this case before. What piqued your interest or got you involved?
Nothing piqued my interest. I was contacted exceedingly recently, yesterday, as a matter of fact, in relation to this. So it's not a matter of my interest. I was only retained yesterday, or asked to assist yesterday.
Yeah. There was a report earlier today that suggested at least 11 other women have come forward alleging similar offences by the person in question. Can you say whether you have seen any of those complaints?
I haven't seen any of those complaints, but I am aware that there have been prior complaints. But I've not seen the complaints because, of course, the complaints are in the exclusive custody of the police, and they don't normally make these public.
Nigel Hughes, we appreciate you coming on to the SportsMax Zone and putting some clarity to this situation and explaining what is going on. And of course, we'll be tracking to see what happens in the coming days and the coming weeks. We thank you very much.
Thank you, and I wish you and your team good night.
All right, thank you very much. And yeah, you know, Donald, Mariah, as I said at the top of the show, this is extremely sensitive, this matter. And so from our standpoint, we have to be extremely careful because while we have seen some documents, while we have seen some accusations, while we have seen some evidence, the fact still remains that we are not sure exactly where the investigation is, which essentially is part of the problem. That you know, some of these allegations were levied from 2 years ago, and there is no resolution, certainly not to the satisfaction of those who laid the claims. And so, yeah, extremely delicate, and there's really not a lot that we can say at this stage. But to say a lot does not look good. A lot looks very sketchy in this case.
And I just want to add one thing before you jump in, Donald, that there are so many different sides to a situation, and that's something that, you know, we all are aware of. So as much as, you know, we're hearing from one party, I feel like a part of me would like to hear from the other people involved. And when I say that, of course, nobody's going to come to the forefront and say, I did something, especially if it's something wrong or, you know, something that's not respectful or something that, you know, people would have a stigma against. But, I mean, even those, like, let's just say it where the reports were filed in the police station and why certain things were not done. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, because we're still so far away from the cricketer defending himself. So that's in the future. I think the most damning thing about all of this, Ricardo and Mara, is the fact that it's not a civil case. They're not asking for compensation at all. No. And usually with these situations, there is a lot of skepticism in regards to, you know, whether someone wants money out of it. But the fact that there is no request for any exchange of funds, no compensation, the fact that they just want prosecution is probably the most damning thing for me. There is no question as to motive right now except for justice. And as I said, we have seen a few of the documents. We have seen a bit of the timeline as to what has taken place over the last couple of years. And it really is a strange one. The lawyer was mentioning that, or listeners in Jamaica, by the way, we do have listeners all across the
last
Caribbean.
I checked, at least
including
26
in Guyana.
countries across the region.
Yeah,
right.
Everywhere.
So, and I'm sure that each territory has their own issues in terms of cover-up, especially at the highest level. God knows we in Jamaica, we understand that, so it's not like that news is foreign to us. But again, it is just really, really sad given the circumstances, and we would want a resolution quickly. But I think it has to begin with the officers and the police department in Guyana.
Yeah, one of the things when I looked at some of the documents that came our way, and it jumped out at me immediately that in the Caribbean, we need to reculture our boys, reculture our men, to understand that when a woman says no, it means no. Doesn't mean try some more. Doesn't mean go again. It means no. And I think what we have in many places in the Caribbean, and I think in many instances as well, especially the rural areas
Yes.
In the Caribbean,
Yep.
Are boys who grow into men who believe that
Anything they request, they should have.
that, but also that they can convince women to do certain things with them, and convince turns into force, and force turns into something else.
And some people think no means chase some
Chase
more,
harder.
like it's a
Yeah.
prize, like you're working on something.
Yeah, and it is unfortunate culture that I think we have in the Caribbean. And as I said, we just have to reculture our boys as they grow into men, that does not become a part or remain a part of their thinking, because more of these things will happen. And this story will come to the fore. And I think when some of the details come to the fore, there are many who are going to listen and think, but I have done something close to that. I have seen situations like that. Oh, I would never have thought that was sexual assault. I would never have thought that was rape. But
even
it is.
comments, certain snide comments are uncomfortable.
Yeah.
When, we grew up in a culture where you'd see a woman walking on the road and, what we call in Trinidad, you'll say suiting, right? I think you all say,
What do you call it, Trinidad?
like you suit, so you make a sound like with your mouth, but it's like you're heckling, right?
You mean psst?
Yeah, so we'd say that's a suit, like you're,
that's a
you're
suit.
suiting her. Yeah.
Okay.
Right? And, some people might think that that's not offensive, but the truth is, a lot of girls, young girls who are walking on the streets, and you do that to them, they feel uncomfortable. It's catcalling.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Oh, by the way, women do it to men these days as well. Shall we go to a break?
Has that been done to you? You can't say that and go to a break.
He just did.
Let's go to a break.